Oh boy, it has been a while, guys. I think it's been at least 2 months, maybe even 3. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, a great Christmas, a great Hanukkah, a great New Year's, great all of the holidays that passed in the past couple months. Um, First of all, I do apologize that there has not been any kind of regular content going on for the past couple months. It's been difficult for Lindsay and I to find times to film together based off of our busy schedules with work and everything. Lindsay and I did kind of talk about it, and she determined that with her current workload, she does not necessarily have the time to be able to film and review all these books or do these activities that we do on this channel, which is obviously completely fine. When we first started this channel, it was just supposed to be something to do for fun, and it really kind of grew, and I knew that we would not necessarily be able to do the channel forever, but I'm not sure I'm ready to let go of the channel yet, but I also don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I could do a one-on-one, what I call a one-on-one video where I just sit here and I talk about books and then that's it. But I really personally feel like it was a lot more enjoyable when I had a co-host, because we could bounce ideas off of each other. We could bounce jokes off of each other. Lindsay and I specifically would have books that we really liked together or books that we had very different opinions on. And I really enjoyed being able to have a co-host on this channel to have those different opinions and point different things out in the books that maybe her or I didn't see when we were reading it individually. So I've been struggling what to do with this channel. I don't know if I'm ready to just say, channel's done, have a great rest of your life, guys. I don't know if I want to do a one-on-one video. I'm not really sure if I should find a separate co-host, because I don't think I have a lot of friends who read who would want to do a YouTube channel. But I'm just trying out a lot of different things here. I'm not sure if future me is going to discuss it already, but I was talking to my dad about what to do with the channel, and him and my mom both have been extremely supportive about the channel. But he's always funny when he supports it, because he does not read a lot of books. He doesn't read fiction books. Most books he reads are car mechanic books. My mom does love reading, and so my dad is always funny when he talks about the books, because he doesn't always necessarily understand the terminology we're talking about, like DNF or TBR kind of thing. It's always fun kind of for us to explain it to each other. And when I was talking to him about, I don't know what to do with the channel, he said, well, I'll do a video with you. And I said, but you'd have to read a book. He said, I'll read a book for you, Danny. So I was like, okay, let's try it. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to jump to the guest star, and you guys just let me know how it goes. Ready, go!
Ta-da!
So I'm Danielle, the resident romantic.
And I'm her father, the ABC-ya, because when I see a book, see ya!
You're so cute, you're so nervous. Alright, yes. Okay. He's my father. His actual name is Steve, though, because they have to know who you are.
Oh.
Now, do you know the rest of our intro?
And we're friends
till the book ends. Wow, you did pretty good. I'm so proud of you. Okay, so we are here trying something very new. Since we do not have Lindsay right now, we have a Lindsay replacement, which is Steve. So, we are here. I made him read a book. He said he was going to read the book. He may or may not have finished the book. He may or may not have gotten halfway through the book. We read The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. He asked me to choose any book on my bookshelf for him to read, and I chose this one because he said he didn't want it to be a thick book. Which, for reference, look how thin this is.
If you hold it closer, it looks thicker.
So I chose what I thought was a thin book, and it wasn't too romancy, it wasn't too paranormal, it wasn't too sci-fi. He's not a huge book reader, so I was like, okay, this is the one. So I'll give you the brief synopsis, and then we are going to try to discuss it. Okay, Steve? The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. It looks at Sabrina. When you start the book, she is 30 years old, and she is having a dinner with the 5 people that are alive that you wish you could have dinner with. And at the time that the book starts, it is Conrad, her professor, Tobias, her ex-boyfriend, Robert, her father who has passed away, Aubrey Hepburn. Aubrey or Audrey?
Audrey.
Oh, Audrey
Did you
Hepburn.
read the book?
I did, but I never saw anything Audrey Hepburn-ish. So Audrey Hepburn, and then her friend Jessica. The way that the book is set up is it has a dual timeline. It first starts off with the night of the dinner, and it distinguishes the dinner chapter by talking about the time. So it's like 9:32, 10:45, and then it also switches back to, I think when Sabrina is 21, 22. It's when she's very early in her 20s. And it does a dual timeline of the dinner that is happening at this moment when she's 30 and her relationship off and on again with Tobias. The whole point of the book is to look back at her relationship off and on again with Tobias, and it's supposed to be this very like heartwarming, romantic, and eye-opening thing about first loves. That's all we'll say, unless you have anything else to add.
Well, I believe you missed some.
Okay, carry on.
I believe the book not only focused on Tobias, but
Mm-hmm.
her relationship with her father as well.
Oh, her father's important? I didn't really...
Yes.
Okay.
I think the whole book circles around her relationship with Tobias, as well as her father relationship,
This is true.
father-daughter relationship with her father.
This is true. And it also focuses on her relationship with her best friend Jessica, which changes throughout the years.
True. But again, I think more of it was focused on the father-daughter relationship as well as the love interest.
Okay. All right, so that is a piecemeal synopsis. We're going to dive right in. Normally, the way that this is structured is we would talk about the characters, we would talk about the plot, and then we would give like an overall general idea of what we thought of the book.
Okay.
But we start with saying our ratings of the book.
Okay.
We rate it on a 1 to 5. For me, I give it a 2 out of 5 because I just really did not like it, but we'll get into that. You can technically rate it if you did not finish it, but you do have to specify if you did not finish it.
Okay, I DNFY'd it, and what?
What's DNFY?
Well, did not finish yet.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay.
I have to let your audience know. My daughter gave me a timeline of which to finish this book, and it was really only about 30 days. I did not finish it yet. I plan on it. It may be several years, but I will. I will finish it. But from what I've read, I will rate the book as a 2.
Oh, okay. So we're the same.
2.
That's exciting.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Well, because I feel bad because the author, this was her first work.
Her debut novel.
Her debut novel, yes.
I gotta give kudos to him. So he was actually pretty awesome because I didn't know this was her debut novel. I have another book by her. I wasn't sure what exactly was the first book she made. And so he surprised me by coming over and going, "Did you know this is her debut novel?" I was like, "No way." So, proud of you, Steve.
Well, thank you. And I have to throw this caveat out there. This was the first time that the internet let me down because I wanted to search like Cliff Notes for this book so I could just put it on a shelf and say, "Yep, I read it," but there was nothing. All I found were some reason synopsises, which really didn't go into a lot of detail. And I knew doing this video with my daughter
It's okay, Steve.
that I would have to go into detail about the book. So I was going to try to pull a con, but it didn't work because the internet let me down.
So you were going to lie to your daughter.
No, I was going to lie to your audience.
And your daughter.
But anyway, truth be told, I did not finish it. I did read some of it, but not all of it.
All right, so just to give me a general idea, how far did you get up to? Okay. He almost got to 50 pages. I don't know why you did that so secretively. All right, so I think the way we're going to structure this is we're going to talk about what you've read.
What I got out of the book?
That you've read so far.
Okay, sure.
Yes. So far, based off of everything that you have read, why have you given it a 2?
Well, because the whole premise of the book is there are 5 people that sit down for her 30th birthday.
Yes.
I know of two of them that are deceased. You pointed out that there are actually.
There may or may not be more than one
Oh,
deceased person at the
okay.
table.
But there are at least two.
Yes.
So I struggled for the first 40 pages to wrap my head around sitting down at a table with two deceased people there.
Okay.
And then in the book, these deceased people were talking. And I don't know about you, how many times you sat down to dinner with a couple of corpses, but they don't do much talking. So it was very difficult for me to wrap my head around that. I guess I don't have the cognitive imagination to picture it.
Which is fine. Not everyone does.
And that's why I struggle, not just with that book, but with a lot of fiction books. I just can't, I don't have the imagination
Okay.
to be able to do that, you know?
No, that does make sense. I mean, that's why everyone has different preferences with genre. Some people like the fantasy and imaginative fiction. Some people like more realistic fiction. That is a genre. So.
Oh, is it really?
It is, in fact,
I did not know. But in reading some of the summaries online, they did, a couple of them stated that you have to get over the logistics of sitting down with deceased people, you know, and having a conversation with them, which I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Well,
being truthful.
Oh, you're being truthful now?
Yes, of course.
Well, I would actually like to agree with that, because the whole point of the book, as you mentioned, is you're sitting down with 5 people. Some of them are alive, some of them are not. They're not ghosts, but in that night, they are physically there.
Right.
But the way that the author sets it up is that Sabrina, throughout the night, is questioning, I wonder how the night's going to end. I don't know how this is happening. I don't know what it's like where the ghosts are when they move on, kind of thing. So it was kind of hard for me to get into it as well, because the main character was even questioning how it was possible. And she keeps saying that throughout the book, and it makes it sound like the author is going to clear it up at the end as to how it's possible that they're all there. But there's no clarification.
Right.
So some people like to finish off the book and have their own ideas of, I wonder how that was possible. For me, it bothered me that Sabrina kept questioning how it was possible, and then the author never explained how it was possible.
Right.
So I would agree with that.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't know if it was just a dream she was having,
right,
or if it was an actual dinner and she just imagined those people.
Well, based off the way it ends, it's a legit dinner. Huh. She legit had it. So let's get into the characters then. So based off the characters you met, and aside from the fact that you can't really picture them being at the dinner, were there any characters that you particularly disliked, liked, you had questions about?
No, and not one of them stuck out.
Okay.
I didn't form an opinion on either one of them.
Well, you only read about 40 pages, so you didn't really get to know them that much.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
How about you, Danielle?
Oh, thank you, Steve. Proud of you. So, for me, I was really bothered by Tobias and Sabrina as a couple. Individually, I really liked Sabrina as a character. I liked Tobias as a character. I thought that a lot of the connections that Sabrina had with the different people at the dinner, it made a lot of sense. It talked about her friendship with Jessica, how they had their ups and downs, and how they're growing stronger from it. It talked about her relationship with her father, Robert, and how she didn't really get to know him much, and there's a lot of healing that goes on there. And so a lot of the connections I can understand, but her and Tobias, it didn't make sense to me. It kept doing flashbacks of their relationship, when they were together, when they were apart, when they were together, when they were apart again. And it just never seemed like a healthy relationship to begin with. Yet Sabrina is like head over heels for him. And one of the questions that Sabrina comes to in the book is, how can I continue a meaningful future with Tobias? And it just doesn't make sense to me, because it wasn't meaningful to begin with.
Well, I think part of that had to do with his struggle of his career choice, being a photographer.
Right.
He was a struggling photographer. He wanted to take specific types of, do specific types of photography.
Right.
And that particular artistic style didn't necessarily bring home the bacon. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they live in New York, so
yes,
that was it's very costly to live in New York. So I think it
does.
Was part of the struggle that they.
Well, it is part of the struggle, but part of like the epic romances, because I do love to read romance, is that it's usually you're with the right person if you can overcome those struggles together. But it just seemed like every time they got to a new struggle, something financially, him figuring out his career, her not wanting to necessarily move where he wants to move, it just seemed like they never really came to a a positive outcome. It just seemed like they were too stubborn or headstrong to talk about it. Anytime they would get in a fight, they would separate for the day, and then he would cook dinner, and then the fight would just disappear. Like, they wouldn't talk about the issue. They would just move on like it never happened.
Right,
and that doesn't seem like a healthy relationship.
True, but again, I mean, any new relationships like that, you are going to struggle with, how do I deal with that? I'm not used to having to, compromise my lifestyle or compromise my, character to satisfy or to support. You know what I mean? So,
Right, but this is where I'm going to point out that you only read up to page 41. The whole rest of the book, they are back and forth, off and on together. They were together for about 9 years in the end. So, and even in the end, it still was not a healthy, compromising relationship, I think. So
Well,
that's why I just struggled to grasp the romance part of it.
that may be true, but any relationship's going to have their ups and downs.
That's what I'm saying, though. I never saw an up. It only all seemed down. So I just feel like the author should have included more reminiscent memories of them happy. It seemed like every time they went back to the previous timeline of her and Tobias together, they just did not seem happy.
Well, maybe it was some awesome.
They did mention sex a lot.
There you go.
You can say sex, by the way. You don't have to say.
I wanted to say.
I know you did. But yeah, that's the other thing, is that it mentioned how they constantly had a great sex life. But again, that only seems to be the only positive part of their relationship, which is not a healthy relationship.
No.
You have to have a balance of everything.
Correct. That won't carry a relationship.
No, it won't. And so I guess that's kind of what honestly gave it a 2-star for me, was because it literally says in the front cover here that the point of the book is it traces Sabrina and Tobias' relationship from their first meeting in college, navigating the treacherous terrains of their 20s, and the dinner list is supposed to grapple with the highs and lows of first love and the unexpected detours on the road to finding your own happily ever after. So there were no highs for me. It was just constantly low. So I feel like I was misled based off the synopsis of what I was going to get from this book. Yeah, so I was overall disappointed. Do you have anything to add overall?
Yes, I was overall disappointed as well.
In what?
Well, the fact that it's so chunky.
It's not. Look how thin that is.
Look, you can't even see my head. It's
Yes,
so chunky.
you can.
So chunky.
Your head's chunky. There's literally less than 300 pages in here.
That's chunky.
All right. Viewers, comment down below if less than 300 pages you would consider chunky or you would consider thin. Yes, we do this.
Down below. Just comment down below. And also comment if you'd like to see me in subsequent videos.
Yeah, but you said you didn't want to read any more books.
I didn't say I was going to read a book. I just want to be included in the videos.
So you'll just sit in the back, like...
Your audience may appreciate that.
You're right. They may appreciate that, Steve. Okay. All right, well then,
Is that a wrap?
No.
Oh, it's not a wrap. Not a wrap.
The last thing we do when we're talking about the books is Rebecca Searle. I did comment. She has other books. I have another one on my bookshelf. I think she has at least 3, maybe even 4, maybe even more. I really didn't look. I'm just pulling numbers.
I'll check my bookshelf.
The question is, after everything that you've read so far, would you read another book by Rebecca Searle? And you can be honest.
No, I probably wouldn't.
Okay.
But that's not a slight on her. It's
Right.
a slight on fiction books. I struggle with reading fiction books, period. Give me an auto repair manual and I'll read that and, stay up all night reading that. What?
You don't stay up all night. You go to bed at 8:30 and take a nap at 1 o'clock.
No, well, okay, I'll stay up to 8:30.
Okay, there you go. You have to be honest with your audience.
I am. I'm being honest. That's why I told them I'm not big on fiction books.
Right. Thank you for asking. I don't think I would read another book by Rebecca Searle, just because it feels like her synopsis really did set me up for failure with this book, and I am just afraid to read another book of hers in case it is again going to set me up for failure.
Yeah.
Yes. So the only way I would try reading her again is if I just didn't read the synopsis for the second book and just take it straight from it is. So, okay, so yes, this is the wraps. Now we're going to sign off. Okay. Do you know how we sign off or no?
Yep. This is Steve, the ABC, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
And this is my daughter, Danielle. the resident romantic,
That's not how we.
and we're friends.
That's the beginning.
Oh, what are you doing here? I've watched a couple of them. Right?
I know you have. There's nothing really regular about the end like our beginning is. So the way that we end it is give us a thumbs up if you like this video. As he mentioned, comment below if you do want to see even more videos. Yes, below, we get it. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, let me know some of your opinions of kind of what you want to see with this channel. If you're interested in just seeing me with more vlogs, cool, I'll see if I can do that. If you want me to, don't be offended, if you want me if you want me to maybe alternate and get a new guest each time. No, I said don't be offended. Don't be offended. Get a new guest each time, let me know. If you think it's time to just kill the channel, well, I don't want to like give them stuff if they're not going to watch it. So if it's time to just kill the channel, let it be what it was and move on from it, let me know as well. Any ideas are welcome here.
Thanks for watching and have a great rest of the day.
We'll see you next time.
See
Bye.
ya.